Several factors can trigger the E3F6 error. One common cause is wiring degradation from lint buildup, which can interfere with sensor connections. Power fluctuations or surges can also cause the error by damaging the moisture sensor system. Corrosion on the sensor or its connections can lead to faulty readings and trigger the error. Sensor wear after 5 to 7 years of use is another common cause, as components naturally degrade over time. A malfunctioning electronic control board can also cause the E3F6 error by failing to process sensor signals correctly. Neglecting regular maintenance, like venting the dryer, can exacerbate the problem and lead to lint accumulation that affects the system. For advanced diagnostics, we'll test the moisture sensor using a multimeter. First, safety is crucial. Always disconnect the dryer from power to avoid electrical shock. You'll need a multimeter, a tool that measures electrical properties. Set it to continuity or resistance mode, typically marked with an ohm symbol. This shows a moisture sensor being held and a multimeter displaying OL, which means open loop or infinite resistance. First, locate the moisture sensor. It's typically found behind the lint trap inside the dryer drum. The sensor consists of two parallel metal strips that detect moisture in the clothes. To test, touch the multimeter probes to the two connection points on the sensor. The meter will show the resistance in ohms. A good sensor typically reads between 10,000 and 50,000 ohms, or 10 to 50 k ohms. If the resistance is very low, almost zero, the sensor is shorted. If it shows infinite resistance, or OL, the sensor circuit is open. In both cases, the sensor is faulty and requires replacement. For exact procedures, consult your dryer's service manual, as testing methods can vary slightly between models. If the moisture sensor is faulty, replacement is a straightforward DIY repair. First, purchase a new moisture sensor compatible with your Maytag Bravos XL model. Look for preventive maintenance kits that include the sensor and wiring harness for complete replacement. For safety, disconnect the dryer from power by unplugging it from the electrical outlet. Locate the moisture sensor by removing an access panel inside the dryer drum. The sensor is typically mounted on the interior wall near the vent area. Carefully disconnect the wiring harness from the old moisture sensor. Note the wire colors and connections for proper reconnection. Install the new moisture sensor in the same location as the old one. Connect the wiring harness securely to the new sensor terminals. Ensure all wiring connections are secure and properly fastened. Reassemble the access panel and restore power to the dryer. Test the dryer to confirm the repair is successful. Using preventive maintenance kits with new sensors and wiring can help avoid future E3F6 errors. If replacing the moisture sensor doesn't resolve the E3F6 error, the electronic control board, or ECB, may be the cause. The ECB manages all dryer functions, including sensor inputs. When it fails, it can misinterpret or ignore sensor signals. Common symptoms include intermittent E3F6 errors, the dryer failing to start, or other unusual behaviors like inconsistent drying cycles. Replacing the ECB is more complex than sensor replacement. It involves reprogramming and testing multiple connections, so professional help is recommended to avoid further damage. A faulty ECB can sometimes lead to electrical issues that pose a fire risk. If you notice unusual smells, heat, or other symptoms alongside E3F6, unplug the dryer immediately and seek professional repair. Regular maintenance is key to preventing the E3F6 error. Clean the dryer's lint filter after every load to remove accumulated lint that can interfere with the moisture sensor. Inspect and clean the dryer vent at least once a year to ensure proper airflow and prevent lint buildup that can affect sensor readings. Avoid overloading the dryer, as this can strain the sensor system and lead to inaccurate moisture readings. Consider annual inspections by a qualified appliance technician to check for wear and ensure all components are functioning properly. Grounding the dryer properly can prevent errors caused by power fluctuations that might damage the moisture sensor system. If DIY troubleshooting fails, consult a certified appliance repair technician. Technicians can diagnose complex issues like ECB failures and perform necessary repairs. While firmware updates can sometimes reduce error recurrence, they may not be a permanent fix. Consider the cost of repairs versus replacing the dryer, especially if it's an older model. User surveys show that in about 30% of cases, board replacement is necessary, costing $200 to $400.